It wasn't until I overheard a conversation between Aruna, a French woman who had been living here for, I think, more than a decade, with a Swiss woman, and they together had been walking around the hill and behind the temple, Arunachala temple. They had encountered a yogi there who stopped them in the road and answered for this Swiss woman the pressing questions about her life problems that she had come to the East to find solutions for. And she was ecstatic. She was so thrilled, and she was due to leave the very next day. I never saw her again. But I approached Aruna. Who is this yogi? I need to see this yogi. Can you direct me to this, and that, in those days, they described him as a beggar dressed in rags and carrying some odd things. So she said, oh, him, you'll never find him unless he wants to find you. She said, I don't even know how to find him. He just shows up sometimes in my life. But on the very next day, she was shopping for vegetables in just off Carr Street, and there he was. She encountered the master, and she explained that there was this young American hoping to meet with him about something, and arrangements were made for us to meet. Late one night, we found our way to the far end of Carr Street, a little tea shop there called the Sundar Tea House, little yellow abode, so sweet. I love my memories of India in those days are of India in its innocence, India so peaceful, so kind. And so we sat in this such sweet little place. The proprietor there was Hindi. He spoke Hindi. He welcomed Yogi Ramsuratkumar, and we were allowed to sit there many hours, even long past closing time. And on this occasion, he explained to me that he needed some friends, some few friends he would say, some friends who understand this beggar, which meant friends who knew he was a Mahatma and who would protect him. He sent me away to Adyar, Madras. He knew I was going to be staying in India quite some number of years, and he wanted me to find a place where I could stay healthy, where I would have some blend of East and West, and some comforts, not quite so fiery and intense as Tiruvannamalai. So I lived there, and as many of you know, it was in the spring of 1971 that I went from Adyar for the first time to find him here. He called me back by letters. I have all of those letters still. And we were to meet here. I searched for him for days. He was not in town. No one knew where he was, he was not here. Yeah. So I had hurt myself, and I went back to the Guru, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, to fall at his feet and beg his forgiveness. He didn't scold me. He didn't criticize me. He took me back. And he blessed my return to the West. And I decided my ambitions are going to hurt people, hurt myself. I have to just go back, be a young man, go back to school, find a career, make a home, have a family, put my feet on the ground, and pray for grace, and not my own not engineer my own, so to speak, realization. So I went back. Oh, but before I did, you know, Yogi Ramsuratkumar and I spent that last day in Tiruvannamalai together. And then we went by horse cart through town to a little cottage over here across from Ashram. I was staying there. And I fed him, I made tea for him, and we enjoyed some snacks. And I asked him, who is my guru? Are you my guru? And he said, no, this beggar is not your guru. Sri Anandamayi Ma is your guru. He knew I couldn't love him. He knew my heart was blocked. He knew I was confused. He knew I was struggling with this question. And he sent me to the one saint. He sent me to the one saint who I could totally love, only because even though I had spent time with her, I couldn't see any trace of a person there. She was a living, in my imagination and perception, she was a goddess on earth, and I could love her totally. And so he pushed me out of the nest to spend more and more time with her. And before leaving that day, he told me, Mr. K, it doesn't matter in what far distant land you are, no matter when, no matter what, no matter why you might need this beggar's help, you can call this beggar. And this beggar promises you he will ask his father to answer your call, to meet this need. And right then, I was thinking, you're saying that, but can you really hear my thoughts if I am 1,000 miles distant? And I thought, I'm going to think of 3 questions in my mind right now. And he's chatting with me, he's drinking tea, and I think 3 questions in my own mind, which he can't know the answer to. And we continued to talk over chai. And finally, the day grew long, and the sun was setting. It was getting dark outside. He was very reluctant to ever walk by himself in the dark along the roadsides because of this political dilemma. But he left. I saw him to the door. He took my hand, wished me all blessings, and left. And I was thinking, 3 questions. No. And I went back to clean up our tea and our little snacks, clean up. And I turn, and he just comes around and stands on the backside of the screen door to this little cottage. He doesn't open the door. He doesn't call my name. He just attracts my attention. I turn to face him, and he answers question 1, question 2, question 3 in the 1, 2, 3 order. And then he didn't even say another word, like goodbye again or something. He just simply turned and left. And I said to him, this was my ploy. This was my calculated question. I'm thinking this question, it will tell me who he is. I asked him, Swami, can you know everything? Such a silly question. Swami, can you know everything? Because in my little brain, the true guru can know everything. And he takes a step back and takes his beard in hand and he says, "Oh." And he's silent for a moment there. And then he says, "Yes, Mr. K. This beggar can know anything, everything." And then I said, "Even nuclear physics?" Because I knew he didn't know nuclear physics, and I didn't know nuclear physics. But if we had a nuclear physics problem, he would be able to solve it. So without even smiling, he thought for a moment, he was quiet, and he said, "Yes, even nuclear physics." And then he said, "If it is needed," he said, "yes, this beggar can know even nuclear physics. If it is needed." That little addendum, that little added part stuck with me for all time. I understand now who Yogi Ramsuratkumar is. He came here to do work. He didn't come, each great saint and seer has some divine mission, even those who say nothing or who don't even move. But Yogi Ramsuratkumar, with every breath, with everything he touched, everything he did was ultimately to enable this power that indwelled in his body. Every atom of his body was a fire, was lighted with fire, and he couldn't touch anything without it becoming a blessed object. Even string and twigs, wrappings, he couldn't even dispense with them or throw them away. He had to stuff his pockets with them. They were sacred objects. And he would give these to whomever would put up with him, to hand them to these people. So it took me a long time to understand how sacred is this being whose only purpose, however enigmatic and bizarre and odd and puzzling and frustrating he was, everything was blessed and blessing, and maybe a 1 in 10,000 year advent of a bodhisattva of this caliber finding his way to this dark world where there is so much suffering, and also, to have the capacity, not only to the will and the longing and the motive to descend with love and healing, but the capacity to hear every single being's call